So Imouto Ireba Lee. Anyway, the English title is "A Sister's All You Need," and came out at a time when there were a bunch of, uh, I guess, little sister themed romance shows, mostly Iremo, but there were some other series where like the main heroine was not a little sister, but there was a little sister as well, like Komachi from Oregairu. And many of these shows also get referenced in this anime. But what's this anime about? It's mostly about a bunch of light novel authors. It's just that Little Sisters used to be popular when when this anime came out. So I think, in my opinion, at least, it sounded like the author, um, you know, just kind of forced this little sister thing into the story to make it more appealing because there's only so many people who are interested in I guess there's more people who are interested in reading light novels than people who want to write a light novel. So the people who want to write a light novel are like a subset of the people who want to read them. So I think he was, trying to widen the appeal. Um, but as you can see from this image, um, what actually appealed to me about this show was that um, the characters played board games from time to time. Basically, how I came across this anime is that I was looking for shows where people play D&D, and the only two that I could come across, well, not necessarily D&D, but any tabletop role-playing game. And the only two which I could come across were this one and the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game anime, um,
Yeah,
which,
the
yeah,
popular over the boards RPG Yu-Gi-Oh.
no, but
I don't know that one.
the thing is, I don't know if you know that, but like the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh, um, it wasn't just about card games; it was about games in general, and it's only from the second one
Mm,
that it
interesting.
became a card game thing. And it, I guess um, that one's a little bit different, the way that it portrays it, because the, the board game in that one is literally cursed, and the people get absorbed into the game basically because it's Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously, and there's magic. Magic is real. So um,
Yeah, yeah, I do. I'm glad you gave this kind of like explanation. Um, it's it because when you watch the first scene of this show, I um it does filter people quite hard. Um, it's like nudity plus incest. Nothing actually happens, but um, I was thinking when I watched this scene, like, why do I agree to do these every week? Why do I?
why am I here just to suffer?
Why am I
Yeah,
here? Yes, sir. I will. I will watch another light novel adaptation for you.
yeah. Maybe, yeah. I mean, at the start, now I just said that maybe the author was trying to widen the appeal, but maybe that theory, you can throw that theory out the window when you watch the first minute of the show. Which, yeah, I don't know. Like in my memory, that thing was long, like 6 minutes, but you know. But actually, when I rewatched the show for this podcast, yeah, it was only long for 1 minute. Basically, what happens in the first minute is that the the protagonist, who is a light novel author, um, has dreams about, or rather, has written a scene uh, uh, which doesn't make any sense. Let's not describe it. So
Yeah, okay. So the protagonist Itsuki is a author, right? As you say, but he has a serious little sister complex um, because of a childhood memory that we'll talk about later. He suffered a trauma, and it has screwed him up emotionally so badly that he now has a little sister complex. Um, so all he does all day is unironically write little sister semi pornographic literature, and that's his life. But I will say, I will say that this anime was probably the most pleasant experience you've maybe sit through in this kind of comeback era. So there's that.
it's
But
better than full dive, I guess.
because like the thing is, it's not. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This anime for me was a better watch than Full Dive. But it's not really about like this guy's little sister fantasies. I mean, it is, but it also isn't. There is more to it. It's also about his like relationships, but also about being an author in the industry, you could say, or like being a editor, or like being an artist. So there's all these kind of characters that have these positions, and yeah, it's pretty sweet, um, but it's short and sweet, maybe a bit too short, unfortunately. I would have liked this actually to have been longer, but yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, Eromanga Sensei is also kind of like this, but it's a bit more fantastical, and I think the authors are also a bit younger as well. Yeah. Another thing about this show is that all of the characters are adults. Um, yeah. So some basic information about the show. The Blu-rays are censored, so don't bother looking for them. Um,
any men of culture who want to uh
yeah. So the light novel was published from in 2000 from 2015 to 2020, and it's 14 volumes. Yeah, I've noticed that like the next anime which you're going to talk about is has also got 14 volumes. I wonder whether that's a common cutoff. So the anime actually came out. The anime adaptation actually came out in 2017. I think it covers the first 5 volumes. So if anyone wants to continue the story after watching the anime, so it's a late night anime. It aired at 10:30 p.m. So obviously. Um, so the first minute of the show is basically a great filter. The author clearly likes board games and party games, and I don't know if the anime actually like got. I think they must have at least gotten permission, but I, I don't know if they actually got promoted. Advertisers from Japanese alcoholic drinks, which again plays into the fact that most of the characters are adults, um, because they couldn't advertise alcoholic drinks. It would have to be it would have to be, I don't know, like Pizza Hut in Code Geass, in in a war drama. Um, so um, they don't play as much board games as I liked them to do. I think I like those scenes the most. Um, it's so, so,
yeah,
so,
yeah,
so
those were good.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel scammed because it was a sold to me that it would have been more about the like tabletop elements, but instead I got a raunchy um, romantic comedy about a light novel author.
Yeah. I mean, this is also a romantic comedy, so it's um it's a romantic comedy about, because I think light novels at this time, when back in 2015, they were mostly, there were a lot of popular romantic comedies, and that's where the little sister thing was also quite common as well. Um, so yeah, I guess this time it's a romantic comedy about the authors. Um, so so it- so it's about light novelist, and you do get to learn a little bit about how how the industry works and so on. But I think the characters spend most of the time messing around more than they're actually writing novels. Um, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
the,
that's like a common theme, to the point where they have to be like made to, which is kind of a entertaining theme for some of the episodes.
yeah, I mean it's not all pointless. Like they will go on a date on a zoo or whatever, and then they will take some inspiration from
Yeah,
what they but
yeah,
it's
it's
very very vague.
research.
Yeah, it's quote unquote research, but like it didn't feel at any time like they actually needed to do that. Y- Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think that actual real
No, no,
life.
no. Look, okay, the I think it's like the episode 3 beach episode was perfectly justified for research purposes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so as I said, it references other popular light novel anime. For example, Itsuki in the apartment where he lives. He has got a poster of Komachi, the little sister, obviously from Orogairu, and he also has a bunch of other figurines um, from actual anime. So it's a rom-com anime inspired by light novels, rom-com light novels. So the main cast consists of two couples basically, a genius couple and an ordinary one, let's say. So genius light novel authors, quote unquote. So it features examples of novelists being inspired by random stuff, as I said. The protagonist is Itsuki Hashima. He's 20 years old. Um, yeah, all of the heroines in his stories are little sisters. He dropped out of college 2 years ago to write novels. Um, he was already a a light novelist, whatever. By the time he entered college, he had no friends in school. His mother died when he was in second year of middle school. His father remarried 3 years ago, and he resented his father because he was able to remarry in just 3 years. Though I think that's not that unreasonable. And yeah, not now he lives separately. And yeah, he lives apart from his parents. And now the novel which is working now is called Maho Academy, Sister Method Academy, which we sort of see glimpses of, and it seems to be like, from what I understand, is that it's a fantasy series, and um, there are two male characters and two female characters, and it seems like the two couples in that anime are like basically siblings. Uh, you know, that seems to be the case. Uh, yeah, I can't read the slide here, but on this picture here it says his current running series, the siblings Sieg and Hilde deepen their bond as they go to the academy and get through various incidents. Um, yeah, so that's anything else you want to say about Itsuki?
I think I think we will kind of naturally add to each character because he has some of the wildest lines sometimes, uh, especially in like when we get around to talking about INA, his kind of childhood his like childhood crush. I think we can get into his psyche a bit deeper. We can drill down into the sister incest author's psyche um,
Yeah, and
later.
yeah, and a lot of the scenes in the anime take place in his apartment. I think it's sort of like a studio apartment, sort of looked like to me.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, Yeah,
Yeah,
but he caused it I mean, Itsuki. I mean, it's not like this kind of little sister thing he does for money. He does it because he believes there is a sanctity to the little sister. Uh, like, s- so there's all these kind of like jokes scattered around the show. I mean, I think some could say maybe they're a little bit overplayed, and perhaps, but uh, yeah, he's very insistent on how good little sisters are and how he wants a little sister, which is going to be ironic later.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's another development which goes nowhere because the
yeah,
adaptation
it's
is
too short.
kind of too short.
It's too short. Sad. I wanted a real reverse trap plot. I was waiting for it, but it's never came. Sadly. Um, though I think I would also say just given this opportunity that this anime is little sister propaganda. Um, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
they're
i-
I
It's
think
not
that I
realistic
think
at
they're
all.
played up too much. It's
Yeah,
not realistic.
they're not worth it. Yeah, you're
I
better
mean,
off without
even
them.
because Isuki's friend Haruto actually has a little sister, and I think we'll talk about it later, but Haruto's little sister is not realistic. She's like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of things which are not realistic. The first one would be that a light novel author would be this popular with women, but
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah. So also, Itsuki practices nofap, and he is a true cell. Therefore, he has not laid a finger on these two like incredibly like attractive women. One of which is constantly telling him that she wants him to basically like fuck him every day, every chance she gets. But Itsuki, being the true cell he is, does not lay a finger on her
he's a
at any
sister
point.
cell, I guess. Or
He is a true sister cell.
yeah. Um, okay. So even though he doesn't have a little sister, he does have a little brother who's
Yeah.
16 years old, and it's not blood related to him. So
Fuck's sake. This will be important later.
so he cooks food for so the little brother called Chihiro is called Chihiro Hashima. He cooks food for his brother. He doesn't. So Chihiro doesn't live with Itsuki. Chihiro still lives with Itsuki's parents. So basically, Itsuki's father and his stepmother. Um, uh, and Chihiro sounds like a girl's name, which is
Yeah, it's funny you
obvious.
say that.
Yeah. um, yeah, and she likes cleaning his lazy stepbrother's apartment, Itsuki's apartment. And the reason why she does all this stuff is because she wants to get along with her stepbrother so badly for some reason, which is not explained. Um, and she also wants Itsuki to patch up things with his father, who we barely see much of anything about. But I guess that's common with Japanese fathers who just spend all their time working or whatever. And at the end of
Yeah.
the first
Uh,
episode, we see Chihiro uh, in bathing, and she looks suspiciously girlish there.
sus.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Interesting.
So
Yeah. I also just on Chihiro for a second. Um. Oh God, what was I gonna say? No. Yeah. It's kind of crazy how all of the cast. I think all of the cast understands the reverse trap situation apart from Itsuki himself. Itsuki thinks he has a little brother. He's being constantly gaslit at every moment that he doesn't have a little sister. He is constantly being denied a little sister. This is what he
Yeah,
must endure.
but
Every day is a endurance for Itsuki.
yeah, but I don't know. I think it could also break him because like
It comes to breaking.
like, because he's barely being able to be functional because basically he doesn't have a little sister. Yeah.
Itsuki is going to go to jail. Uh, he
I
can't
mean,
help himself.
I mean, uh, this the same could be said for Itsuki's illustrator, who we'll talk about later as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
S- So, so a lot of the scenes consist of, Itsuki um, inviting his light novel friends and non-light novel friend as well to his apartment. And a lot of the time, Chihiro is also around cooking, making food for the lazy light novel authors. Anyway, so let's talk about the Itsuki's light novel author friends.
yes.
I should have included just a picture of Itsuki's apartment. That would have been nice, given that it features a lot. Um, I, I think isn't don't they spend a lot of their time like sitting on the ground? I don't think they have actual chairs in. They just like in-
Yeah, I think they just sit on
yeah,
the ground, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So so the first light novel author we'll talk about is Haruto Fua, who's 22 years old. I think the oldest of the bunch. Um, his light novel is about to get an anime adaptation, and I guess we all know the quality of the average light novel adaptation. Um, I guess
Yeah.
if yeah, it turns out that it's not pretty good, and that features as a plot point. But I guess if I were to describe Haruto Fua, is that he's hardworking but also kind of desperate to be able to remain a light novel author. Um, we don't get to see much of his background other than the fact that he has a little sister who's who's sort of a tsundere. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Um, I think pretty much is a tsundere, um, but mostly the sun part. Sun. But I mean, just on like Haruto, I would say he's like the most relatable character. I did find myself liking him. I wanted him to like succeed, but it never really quite happened for him. Um, but he still sort of keeps going. He like resolves himself to keep going. He doesn't like you know. I,
he's,
he
he's on a
gets on
grind
like
there. Yeah,
good terms with his sister and stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, he also has like there's also like a kind of subplot between him and like Miyako. Um, there's like a love triangle because being the chick magnet he is, Itsuki is pulling Miyako, who's this other author. I don't think she's an author.
No,
I'm
she's
not quite
not
sure
an
what
author.
she
No,
is.
no,
She's like
she's
this like college student.
yeah, she's just a
Um,
college student. Yeah.
yeah, but so Itsuki is also like pulling her, but Haruto likes Miyako, but she doesn't really she doesn't really pay much attention to him. So there's kind of this like sad um episodes where like Haruto realizes he doesn't really have much of a chance. But maybe maybe there is hope for Haruto. We can hope there is.
Well,
It's yeah.
yeah, he's willing to use any means in order to get ahead. So he's
I don't
on.
know. I don't know. I don't know if any needs to get ahead. Is I'm going to defend Haruto. I think
Maybe not any means, but basically he's playing the influencer game, let's say.
yeah,
Yeah, basically when he goes to with to Itsuki's apartment, he's sort of playing up the fact that his friendship with Itsuki, who's because they're both light novel authors, to try to promote each other, and himself basically.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is like reading this translation now. This is a crazy message to send.
Y- Yeah, yeah. I think he's basically trying to appeal to the Fujiyoshi crowd, basically female
Yeah,
females who are into gay stuff. I don't know if they even exist that much anymore, but they used to exist. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. They do
Uh,
still exist.
but yeah. So um, yeah. So he's showing off his gayness here. You can see on Twitter. Uh, and he has never, unlike Itsuki and Nayuta, the other light novel authors, he has never missed a single a deadline because he basically can't afford to. He's not that good. He's not good enough to be able to, you know, be able to.
Yeah, he can't be
Yeah,
lazy. Yeah.
yeah, he can't be lazy.
Mm.
His critics say that his novels lack personality. That he follows trends, and that his novels are just a product rather than a piece, a masterpiece, or whatever. Um, yeah,
Yeah, but he kind of like defends this. I mean, some of the best lines from like Haruto is, well, I make these like products because this is what I like. He makes these like generic-ish fantasy stories because he enjoys generic fantasy. You know, he just likes that stuff, so he wants to make more of it. You know, which I think is fair. You know, I think it's that's there's a kind of I don't know, like endearing um idea behind that. I guess because sometimes you just want something simple to experience, and then just to sort of
yeah,
pass the time, or kind of to escape the reality of your life as a failed light novelist. But anyway,
yeah. I think I think it's kind of nice. Another one which has another anime which has a protagonist like Haruto, and that's also a light novel adaptation. It's called Sakura So no Pet Kanojo, and in that one as well, the protagonist is stuck with a bunch of school friends who are all basically geniuses, but he's not one, and he has to try hard, basically. So yeah, some people like that.
yeah,
So yeah, so basically, you get to see authors who are really good, who are kind of mid, and who are just hanging on. But I think um, I think he also sells a lot of copies as well, more than Itsuki.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. For like a run, he does better than Itsuki. So it's not as if like Haruto is like bad. He just kind of, I think the fact that he hasn't really got lucky yet is part of it for him. He has like potential. He has the drive and like the like work ethic, but he hasn't quite got the like breakthrough yet.
so he has a thing for maid characters. Hence, most of his eroge and characters have maid uniforms in them, apparently. Which which is revealed he when the accountant character shows up, who we'll talk about. Um, it has been 4 years since he became a light novel author. His novel is called the Spirit Night of the Distant Sea, and it gets an anime adaptation. That's the one which gets one. Um, yeah. Yeah, and we also get to see a bunch of hate comments that he gets on Twitter and on his reviews. And so someone accuses him of, uh, trying to rip off Fate because uses Excalibur in his story.
Excalibur.
And I guess nobody would know about Excalibur if it wasn't for Fate. So
Oh
fair
yeah.
enough.
Oh yeah, no one.
Yeah. So he just loves to read and write generic stories which are commercially successful, where the nice guy basically gets all the girls, finishes first, stories which have magic and swords, beautiful girls.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um, but because he likes popular things, he gets accused of, just including them, not because he likes them, but because they sell well, basically.
yeah,
Um, yeah. And yeah, and he basically says, reveals that, uh, during the, so basically, I think we can talk about it now. The anime adaptation, uh, which they talk about at the start of the anime, it turns out that it's kind of really bad. The voice acting is bad, the animation is bad, and all that. And he gets shut on Twitter.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh my god, the like Haruto Cope arc is so brutal. Um,
and he sort of breaks down, and he says that, um, like basically he's not cynically trying to like write something popular. Um, so he has feelings for Miyako after she cried for him when, episode 1 of his anime gets roasted on Twitter. Um, his anime is a late night anime, like most light novel adaptations. Um, and yeah, this anime is also a late night anime. I mean, uh, yeah, and his sister, his pretty little sister, watches all of his anime, and I think we see like a few flashbacks, but it's like stills basically, uh, where like, I think he used to tell stories to his sister when she was small, and basically his sister is his fan as well. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Home appeal. So, in which other anime can you read shitty anime reviews, light novel reviews? So I think,
I like I like this because you can't escape them. You see, like you have to engage with them. You can't just ignore them this time. After
yeah,
your
uh, yeah, yeah. These reviews I think were from, um, when, Itsuki and Haruto both debuted, and they submitted their novels to a light novel competition. Like a lot of light novel authors get their start by, um, uh, participating in a light novel competition, but competitions by publishers, and so and there would be judges, but I think in some competitions, like, um, normal people also get to write reviews. So I think here, side by side, we have, a review of Itsuki's novel to a review of, um, Haruto's novel. So the review for Haruto's novel says that the book lacks personality, and it looks like stuff he has read before, and it's actually just a product. Um, yeah, and that it's be made by, basically accusing the author of just research in current trends. Um, yeah, and just being just slightly better than the average, um, generic novel, basically. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I have a question, regarding this like last question. Though it lacks any distinguishing features, it's already at a level that it can be published, and it'll probably sell. Open bracket, picking my nose, close bracket. Is the term like picking my nose in Japanese like a like horrible insult? Only
I
it's
thought
like,
I thought that it was
I bite my thumb at thee.
yeah, I think it was like I don't know Japanese, but it sounds to me
No,
like I'm not even interested. Like I'm just going to pick my nose and you know throw it away, the
yeah.
booger away. Yeah.
Maybe
Um,
it's like it's like a kanzai thing. Um, I don't know.
because I don't know because Kansai people are kind of more rude or wild or whatever. Yeah, let's see. Let's hope nobody from the Kansai region sees this. So
They don't know how to speak English. It's fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think
That's
uh,
not true, but
yeah, historically their part of Japan was more commercially oriented or something. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All
So
all I know about like that is like they're kind of like thought of as like the comedians, like entertainers,
mm,
and they talk funny, and
they
that's
have
all
an
I know.
accent. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So not that I can like say listen to characters like they will say oh, this character has a Kansai accent, and I'm like, okay, they just sound the same to me. So
Yeah, honestly, like I kind of prefer the Kansai accent than the like regular accent. It just sort of feels more natural. I don't know. There's something about it. Um,
so it's
like
okay. It's not.
if if I mean like certain like Japanese people, like if you listen to them, like it feels like you're like watching like involuntary like an ASMR sometimes, whereas like you never get that with like the Kansai accent. So that's kind of why. But yeah, anyway. Uh,
So Itsuki's novel is called Sister of the Apocalypse. Uh, I can't imagine what it's about. So
mm,
apparently it's full of personality, and both the characters and the way this story develops are insane. I think yeah, I can agree with it being insane probably. Um, yeah, and it's rough around the edges, and there are a lot of problems. Um, yeah. So basically just the opposite of Haruto. And yeah, let's move on to the next slide. So one of the people who falls in love with Itsuki is called Miyako Shirakawa. She's a 20-year-old college student. She used to go to college with Itsuki, and well, until basically Itsuki just dropped out, but she still visits him. Um, do you want to describe how they made friends and that whole thing? How they met each other?
I can barely remember. Oh, hold on. He caught attention because he spent all his time writing right novels, so he looked like he had something more important in his mind. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. So, like, Miyako met Itsuki in college because I guess they went to the same college very briefly. Um, so yeah. So, like, she asked him about his novels. Itsuki obviously told her all about the whole like sister thing, and like miraculously. And by the way, this does not work in real life. I've tried it, but telling girls about your like weird complexes does not have the same effect as it had on Miyako, which apparently in, like endeared her him to her. Uh, but yeah, so she's always kind of been interested in Itsuki and his work as well. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I guess to explain why she kind of likes him started to like him a bit, even though it's not realistic. Um, it's that so basically because Well, I'll read the slides and we'll get back to it. But so
Okay.
she has never been in a relationship yet. Gets called a college college slut by Itsuki for not getting his Siscon light novel. Yeah. So basically, when she sees basically Itsuki spent all of his time just furiously typing on his laptop um, when going to lectures, and then she finds out that he's already a light novel author. Um, whereas because basically what she likes about him is that he's working hard for something, whereas she's kind of aimless. Um, so she apparently has a toned body, according to Nayuta anyway, because she would know. Um,
She would, yes. Yeah.
so basically, Miyako, back, all the way back to her school days, from grade school, she would jump from one thing to another. She did karate in grade school to middle school, then tennis and basketball in high school. But she didn't really take any of it seriously. And even though she didn't understand Itsuki's stupid Siscon light novels, she could see that he was taking it seriously. Um, and so that's why she started to like him. And yeah, um, so she's in a love triangle with Itsuki, um,
Yes.
and her best friend Kani, uh, and who's Nayuta, basically. What's her full name? Nayuta Kani. Um, who's the other author? So there are two authors. So there are, well, three authors, including the protagonist. There's Itsuki, the protagonist. Haruto, who's who we just talked about, and finally
Yeah.
there's Nayuta Kani. So yeah, she's in a love triangle with Kani, who also becomes her best friend. Um, so at the start of the show, she's 20 years old, but um, her birthday happens in the show, so she's 21 by episode 8. Yeah,
Just in case anyone's interested.
yes, that, yeah. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and here we have a high level molester, Nayuta Kani. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, when a lot of people think of this show, um, it's either the first minute of the anime, because that's what they saw, or it's the scene where like um, I don't know, she's eating an egg and she, she's kind of sucking on it, like Itsuki's holding
oh God.
out an egg from a chopstick, and yeah, because for some reason that scene in particular, like, guess I've seen that scene shared a lot as a clip, um, for some reason. Anyway, she's 18 years old, and she can't drink alcohol until she's 21. So yes, she basically has to drink juice while all of the other characters at the table um, they drink alcohol. Her pen name is Kaniko. She's a fan of Itsuki and basically became a light novel author because she came across Itsuki's novels. Um, she surpasses him in talent, but she still loves him and thinks that uh, his novels are the best. Um, so basically, she was kind of bullied in school, and um, she found out Itsuki's novels, and those novels somehow gave her hope or something, an escape. Um, so she confesses to him. Um, so the first time that Itsuki and Ayota meet is when she wins her first light novel competition and gets published. And she tells him that she really loves his works, um, and then vomits on him. Uh, yeah, and and then I think right afterwards, she confesses that she loves him, but he rejects her because um, it's kind of weird. It's because her novels are better than his. Um,
Yeah, I mean, this is a. I wanted to mention this, but I was waiting for this moment. So like Itsuki has like the craziest line. Um, so they after like they spend some time together, like playing a game. Like Nagito is asleep, and so Itsuki is talking with Haruto, and Haruto basically asks Itsuki like, when are you actually going to go out with Nagito? And Itsuka is like, I'm not going to until I am the protagonist. And so the reason why he doesn't go out with Nayuta, even though he would have been happy to go out with her at any point, is because she's more popular than he is, and so if let's say he gets married to her, um, he will just be referred to as like light novelist. He won't be because he won't be big enough to be referred to his name. He doesn't go out with Naita, which is uh, like crazy. But,
I mean, to me, it kind of sort of made sense. You don't. He doesn't. Basically, he doesn't want to be number two in his own relationship, I guess. Uh,
that's true, but I mean, have you met Naita? I mean, she's not going to be number two. I can tell you that much.
yeah, not to her,
Naito
not
will
to her.
literally,
Yeah,
Naito would literally tank her own career for him. I reckon.
yeah, but
Like,
I don't. Yeah, yeah. I don't think he wants that. But yeah,
he doesn't want that. That's the
yeah.
thing. But yeah, I just found it to be like the weirdest like thing. Is like he doesn't so he would rather wait until he surpasses her and like keeps denying her at every possible like every opportunity, rather than just go out with her and then get more popular than her later. It seems like there's a better way to do this. but
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
needless to say, Naruto doesn't seem to mind because she's a little bit crazy,
yeah, a little
and
bit. Yeah.
and in the plot twist, she actually overheard this, and so she's happy because even though he isn't the protagonist, um, it's still likely that he's going to marry her one day, which is what she's always wanted. Um, yes, and Naruto, I think Naruto sexually assaults two other cast members as well.
Female.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, two female cast members, along with maybe Itsuki, but I don't think he seemed to mind. Um, in early episodes, we get a very detailed and well animated undressing scene of Miyako for plot purposes
Y-
only,
Yeah, but
for
there's
research
no nipples for
purposes.
some. It's one of
It
those.
was literally for research purposes,
Yeah.
and then later, she decides to undress the manga artist. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would like. I wouldn't be surprised. Some of these female manga artists also draw some weird stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if they would be into it with other other artists.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, I think a good 60 to 80% of female manga artists are like very
You.
horny. Is all gonna
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I don't. it can't all be just to appeal to the audience. You know, um,
Well, I mean,
that
that's
that has,
true.
yeah.
But I think sometimes, intentions kind of line. Like what the animators, the director and writers want kind of line with what the
Yeah,
audience want.
it's uh it's
And you,
serendipitous, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, that's like that like a Miyako and Nayuta scene um was a animation of skill and passion.
And holiness, obviously.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
s- yeah, so Miyako can't work until on her novels unless she's totally naked. Um,
Naturally, of course.
which
Oh, yeah.
might, yeah.
Also, like Nagito is literally naked in every episode because she's naked in every opening. So,
I didn't notice that. That's some fine attention to
oh no,
detail
you didn't notice. Okay,
there.
I guess you must have skipped the opening.
Yeah, there's one opening where like where Itsuki is naked. Did you notice that one?
There is one they snuck in there where you see Itsuki's bare ass.
Yeah. Yes, it's the one where like they have the great debate about underwear with versus nudity. So
Yeah,
um so um so she was bullied in school and got saved by Itsuki's novels. She was a hikikomori when she was in school. Um, and I guess it's also it comes out as a joke as well when they are playing their games. For example, when they're playing that game where like you need to resolve an action and and you get three random objects, uh, and she like decides to like break the window. Yeah, I think it was that there's a broken window in the school, and the objects which she gets, the object cards which she gets, a bat, um, a scooter, and a fire hose. And so there's one broken window, and she has to resolve this issue. And she says that she's going to break the remaining windows in the school, and then she's going to use the fire hose against the teachers who are coming to try to stop her. And then I don't know, use the scooter for something else to try to run over the students or something. Um, yeah, and it's kind of played for a joke, like the music slows down and all that. The funny music slows down. Um, so the reason why Nayuta likes Miyako is because Miyako feels like an older sister who will cry and get angry for her. Um, I can't.
this is.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forget the fucking egg scene. Oh my god. Like,
You, re- you
I wonder.
remember?
I wonder if she's sending a hint at this point when she eats that fucking egg. I mean, like, I will say sorry for going off on his tangents, but uh, Wakari is pretty much the meme of how do I tell she likes me? Like
So yeah, yeah, and she likes Miyako, and obviously since she likes her, she convinces her to undress. That's what best friends do, female friends, obviously. And the male cast, by the way, like they're totally oblivious to this. They're not there during the undressing scene.
no, 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 obviously not. It's not that sort of anime.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, and
uh,
like when Itsuki asks Miyako if anything happened, like she gets angry with him. So I guess it's a secret uh, for the girls. So um, yeah, where was I? So for Miyako's birthday, Nayuta writes her a whole novel where Nayuta is the main character, and basically only Miyako is allowed to read that novel, which she gives to her like on a small memory stick. Um, and yeah, obviously it's a kind of an erotic novel, but it's also very good apparently, which yeah, basically Miyako also realizes that Nayuta is a genius even though she's weird.
Yeah, yeah. A running, I'm pretty sure people have already cottoned on, but a running theme is like the more like the more perverted the author, the like the more popular and successful their work. So I think like really the message of this show is if you want to be a successful author or writer of some sort, you just need to develop a bizarre and a unique fetish, and write about that fetish, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
should be good to go.
and it helps like if you have some kind of trauma as well, which
Yes.
probably made
Also,
you get
write about your trauma. Make sure to trauma dump as well. Um,
yeah, yeah, like yeah. I don't think in Nayuta's case though that her trauma is connected to her fetishes, at least not as directly as yeah with
Not really. I mean, I think like the bullying probably set her up to falling in love with Itsuki.
so maybe
Um,
it's Itsuki's novels that corrupted her. That could be it. Uh, yeah,
maybe,
maybe
maybe.
it's not really clear, or maybe that's
No,
how she.
I think Nayuta is one of those natural perverts. You can't fake this sort of thing. I mean, she's even like sexually assaulting Miyako in the RPG they play. It's like
Yeah,
quick. The RPG. I think there's a whole slide dedicated to the tabletop game they play,
yeah.
which I agree it was one of the better episodes.
So yeah, and I guess I mean it's all played for jokes, and so so the way that Nayuta gets Miyako to undress, it's that something stupid like, oh, I need to feel the right size of boobs, breasts for this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
It's for research purposes.
yeah,
It's for research purposes. Um, and
yeah.
Miyako kind of
She's too.
agrees.
Yeah, she's too
Uh,
too easy. Yeah, she's too easy.
she's too nice.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to make Anita sad. Um,
Yeah. Everybody needs a friend like that, obviously. So, um, so Nayusha can
hey
write.
look, hey look, hey look. I wouldn't turn down a friend like Anita.
Yeah,
But
but
anyway, that's a whole of
yeah, yeah, it would probably have to be and the opposite sets for me, unfortunately. So, so Nayuta can write novels on a phone, laptop, or a Pomera, which is apparently a Japanese distraction-free writing device with e-ink display or pen and paper or anything. But she can't draw. So yeah, because
no, no. I
that's
mean,
that.
actually, yeah, actually, have you ever used one of those Japanese have you ever installed Japanese onto your phone, like onto your phone keyboards?
Yeah, I have obviously.
Yeah, yeah. It's like and you would know how difficult it is to use those things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Um,
there's like a scene where like Naruto is just like blasting like through this thing she has to write, but she's writing it all on the like Japanese keyboards,
yes, yeah.
which I don't know. I kind of I thought that was impressive,
B-
and
b- yeah,
Miyako thought that was impressive as well. It's like how are you writing this fast?
yeah, and in
He's just
and in
that
that,
good, you know.
yeah, and in that scene, they are both naked, and I think
Yes,
Um,
of course, of course. Oh yes,
and
and also they're naked.
Nayuta is laying her head on uh, on
Yes,
Miyako's lap. Um, so anyway, a lap pillow or whatever
they're
you want to call it.
yes. Also, they are naked in this scene.
Yes. Um, yes. Yeah. Basically, um, and the way I understand it is that the Japanese people all write type with text prediction, like and they basically have to tab through um, like until they get to the right kanji. Basically,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
god. Oh god. At what point is it just easy to get like a stylus and just sort of like
Yeah,
handwrite everything? I don't know.
actually, that's harder, and I think I've heard that a lot of Japanese people they can't write anymore properly because they have got used to type because
Uh,
b- like it's more difficult to write the kanji than it is to use the test prediction and then tab through and
yeah.
find the character. Yeah. So um,
Such
yeah.
feels bad. Your language is your language is too complicated. Um, to the point where like you have to page through like tabs, right? But it's also simple enough. Whereas like no, hold on, it's too complicated, so like you can't draw it, and it's like timely enough. It's also like too complicated, so you have to also deal with like this like nightmare like keyboard system. It's kind of like not great. If anything, I think the Japanese language should be more complicated. I think we should introduce a additional alphabets just to make it past that threshold where no computer interface can actually account for for the complexity.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, I think I've heard anyway that most people like when you are reading, you are not actually like like you're just like for the most part you're just recognizing the shape of the words rather than um, like making the sound which
Yeah.
the word makes in your mind. So I guess after you memorize the word, anyway, let's move on with the story. So um, uh, so Itsuki um, likes N- Nayu, but doesn't want to go out with her because it would be like he would cease to be himself, and instead he'd just end up as some supporting character in the story of her life. Um, Given that she's more popular uh, and a talented writer than himself, he wants to become a quote unquote protagonist, like her to be her equal first. So yeah, basically he wants to be the main character. So even though he is, and next we have the editor Kenjiro Toki. So he's a side character. He's age 26. Um, and I think he might be the first character that we see, but uh, he's constantly fighting with Itsuki to try to get Itsuki's fetish under control. To, to,
Yeah.
to the point to the point where like the story at least makes sense, sort of, and to make sure that the story is completed. And while Itsuki and his friends, like novel writing and college friends, are just fucking around, messing around, he has to work overnight. Um, yeah, I think I'm not sure whether like he works only for Itsuki. I mean, he also works with he's also the editor. I don't for he also works with
Yeah.
Itsuki's
Yeah,
illustrator.
he wouldn't just work with
Yeah, with
Itsuki. He
Itsuki.
would
Yeah,
like work with multiple people.
yeah, because
But I
otherwise it
think
would.
I think
Yeah,
it may just be the case that like Itsuki is the most popular author he works with, so he's kind of it's vital that he gets him on track. But yeah, like he's also kind of his agent as well at the same time. So he's there to like coordinate like artists and stuff. I'm not quite sure what it means to be a editor to a to a light novel writer, but this probably is part of it. Where like you
yeah,
also have to worry about it, illustration, finding artists.
yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah, and I'm not. And he's sort of an active illustrator. Not illustrator. I mean, an active editor. Who's like giving feedback uh, I guess there's a few scenes where like Itsuki is trying to start a new novel as well, even though he can't keep keep up with the deadlines for the novel which he's already writing. But every time Kenjiro ends up, the editor ends up rejecting the stupid scenarios. Uh, and I guess um, he- there's also another editor which we are shown, who's the editor for Nayuta. But in Nayuta's case, the editor, her, her editor, who is a woman, she doesn't have to like do anything. She just has to like do some spelling mistakes, whereas Kenjiro has to control Itsuki's madness, and also um, it kind of feels like if it wasn't for the editor, Itsuki wouldn't get his job done. Like for example, he literally has to like put tracking software on Itsuki's phone, uh, and Itsuki literally runs off um, to the north across the country and all the way to Okinawa to try to get away from Kenjiro. Um, so another thing which I noticed was that even though he's older than he's 26 years old, right? Whereas Itsuki was 20 years old, I think. Yeah, but uh, despite that, he still calls Itsuki and the other like novel authors sensei. So the name it would be Itsuki Sensei. Um, yeah. Uh, Anything else you want to say about? And I guess there's this running subplot thing. It's not even a subplot, but about like basically how the editors are people who care about um, care about the story as much as the authors themselves, and this ends up appealing to Miyako, um, who at the end decides, to choose a certain part in her life, which is to be um, to try to become an editor. Um, yeah. Anything else you have to say about the editor?
Um, I think is not really. I think everything's has been
Yeah.
covered. I think I already mentioned before, like Kanjiro basically trapping and trapping Itsuki in like a room, and he gives him like a box to go to the toilet in, because he like has to finish this deadline, otherwise it's all over. So yeah, so Kenjiro knows, can become very scary. Um, he can lay down the law. He can get his um, incest loving author under control. Um,
Okay. So next we have um, the 16-year-old illustrator called Setsuna Ena, and his pen name is Puriketsu. And for some reason, all of the illustrators, um, the light novel authors also have a pen name usually. but the illustrators tend to have it like all the time, and it's usually just one word. Like I mean, not just in this series. I mean, in real life as well. Um, so obviously he's as weird as Itsuki. Um, so and um, there's this whole thing where like he's looking for um uh I guess references in order to draw butts.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and out of nowhere, she just he just um tries to
Well, it's
molest.
not. This is very. I mean, there is like a wind up. Look, okay, yes, Setsuna needs to find good references. Okay, and when Datas, he sees a fast booty coming past him, he just has to go for it. And it just so happens to be um
Chihiro,
Itsuki's
yeah, quote unquote little
uh
brother. Yeah,
brother, quote unquote.
yeah, yeah, and I don't think there's much to say about him, and other than he ends up having a competition with another character with the manga, because Itsuki's novel ends up getting adapted, and yeah, let's move
Yeah,
on
I
to
mean, I would say Setsuna is more of like a front cover guy, so he's good for like light novel illustrations because all you have
yeah.
to do really is the front cover.
No, no,
But
no. No, it's not just
no,
the not just the front cover. I think because light novels have illustrations in the volume itself.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So
yeah,
these kind of standalone illustrations that don't necessarily need to be that consistent, and like a manga. So like Setsuna's good at like illustrating for light novels. That's kind of his skill level. But his yeah,
yeah.
not
I
so
wouldn't.
good at
Yeah,
the like
yeah,
manga. He's not trained in that type of magic.
yeah. I would say that most light novel illustrations are like usually it's just the characters. Um,
Yeah,
like even like within the novel itself, it would be just and the illustrations within the novel usually are black and white. Um, like maybe there will be a few pages of nice detailed art um, with color paper, glossy paper, but then afterwards it's just a cheap black and white. Okay. We have the tax accountant, which is a character I did not expect. I can't think of any other tax accountants in anime. Um, yeah,
yeah. I mean, sort of continuing the tradition of the youngest character secretly being the oldest character. Actually, Ono is 32 years old, so
yeah,
it's it's legal, guys. I
yeah,
promise. Anyway,
yeah, but
um,
even though she's 32 years old, Itsuki and it, so she's basically 12 years older than than Itsuki, but he still falls for her. When she little sister act when she calls him Oni-chan. Uh,
yes,
yeah, but not. Um, she
yeah.
she's she goes around dressed in a gothic Lolita outfit. Uh, she
Obviously,
yeah, she's she labels Itsuki. So the way that she comes into the story is basically when Itsuki has to file his tax returns, and um, um, and basically she else helps him to commit tax fraud by labeling Itsuki's figurines as research material, and also labeling his eroge pawn games as research material because they are all to do with little girls, and the novels which he writes are to do with not little girls, little sisters. And so yeah, and I guess the one who recommends Ashley to Itsuki is Haruto. Um, and she basically uh, teases both um, uh, Itsuki and Haruto by making them basically explain all of the plots for the eroge which they have. Even though I feel like the titles of a lot of those games don't leave a lot of space for their needing to be much of an explanation. Um, by the way, Fahrenheit, the uh, given that we are on Streamlabs, um,
Hmm.
I can the sound cancellation is not as good, so I can hear you clicking around, which is fine. But yeah, but
I'm doing research. I'm doing research.
I see.
Uh,
So it Itsuki calls. Anyways, stop me at any time that you feel like you have something to say about her. Or
it's
anyways,
fine. It's fine. Hold on. Just a second.
yeah.
I just need to. I just need to get this out for a second. Hold on. Um, I just need to have a Jaffa cake. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm so sorry about this. Okay.
It's
Okay. All
it's
right. I
that's
think we're good now.
yeah,
I think we're good.
that's not thanks for the ASMR, I guess. So
Uh,
I should probably bring back my my eating as well to streams. So
oh yeah,
uh
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need to get like a. I need to get like a plate up here and like a fridge, and so I can just like start. Oh, sorry guys. I just need to. Yeah, sorry. I just need to do this for a second. I'm kind of thirsty. I just need to get this out. Oh man, you would never guess what I found earlier. Oh god, well, I'm looking for things to make noise.
so
You know, it's, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, sorry guys. Let's move on.
so Itsuki calls Ashley, and obviously, it's implied that she's a half, so basically she's half Japanese and some other European, which is why she has blonde hair, even though that wouldn't work. I don't think. Yeah. Anyway, so she,
I don't know how it works.
yeah, but it's anime.
I
Yeah.
haven't looked too deeply in the the human genome to determine if it's possible. Um,
Yeah, it's not. So
it is kind of like a like common thing for like a fictional like half Western like half Japanese character to have blonde hair. Like it is pretty common,
yeah,
but I
I
don't
guess
know if it's like actually realistic.
it's not, but I think it's just because like how else are they going to show it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So so Ashley, so she comes up during the tax return episode. Yeah, yeah, and that's an episode just about filing tax returns.
Yeah,
And
it's a pretty good episode. Yeah, where it goes to like incredible extremes. Like this is one of the episodes where they full send the concept that and we get to understand the full depths of Itsuki's depravity. Um, to the like but yes,
yeah, yeah, and so because of that, Itsuki calls her a cruel accountant, but on the other hand, she triples his refunds from tax returns. Um, yeah, and also I guess another thing to note, a minor thing I guess, is that a lot of time during um, when they're explaining stuff like tax returns, so um, how games work, the games which they play work, they will do stuff like um, it will like turn into like a PowerPoint present like little animation thing. Um, but yeah, maybe I should have included a picture of that. So she comes up in that episode, and then she comes up again in the episode when Chihiro Itsuko's Itsuki's rather um, younger sister. Let's not pretend. Stepsister goes to help. Um, she basically she hires Chihiro to clean up her apartment, and it turns out that there's it's sort of like you know that that streamer that Sam Hyde referenced in his Dear Elon video, Asmongold.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Aspen
yeah,
Goals. Yeah,
yeah.
I know Aspen Goals. We talk all the time. Yeah,
Uh, and yeah, it's sort of like
I'm a good friend of Aspen Goals. This is where I get all the stream ideas from. By the way.
yeah, yeah. And if you must have gone to his place, and it's apparently full of cockroaches, just like Ashley Ono's
Yeah, just
house.
like
Yeah,
Ashley Ono's place.
yeah,
Yeah. So she only keeps the front room tidy
yeah.
for
For the
clients.
clients. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and apparently, unsurprisingly, before um, Chihiro started visiting Itsuki's apartment also used to be a mess, though not as bad um, um, as Ashley's. Even though when I think this comes up later on, um, you know, uh, Itsuki kind of gets defensive about his apartment actually being worse. He wants it to have been worse for some reason. So, um, so I guess it affects his credibility if he kept clean. So, um, I think that's all there's to say about Ashley. Um, Next, we have Kaiko Mikuniyama, the mangaka, which we referenced a few moments. She's 20 years old, even though she looks younger than some of the other characters who are 20 years old. The ages work weird here. She works on, Itsuki's Magic Academy incest story. Um, she's an underwear fetishist. The ribbon on her head is panties. You can't see it here
Yes.
properly, but yeah. Um, and her fetish kind of causes problems for the manga adaptation at first
Yes.
because
Yes. I can't believe I'm saying this, but yes, it's very important to Itsuki that the sister is naked in like the first scene, and Kyako puts her in underwear. So well, in the end, of course, they well, firstly they have like a big like anime illustration battle. So we get the artist, so Setsuna gets called in from outside the ring. He comes in, and they have a kind of like um, illustration like battle, and the person who can illustrate the manga the best is the one that can do it. Obviously, Kaiko is the one that wins because she's a natural like professional manga, and plus this anime gives people with weird fetishes like special powers. So he stood no chance at any point. Okay, he was
Setsuna,
destroyed
yeah,
by the
yeah,
underwear
yeah.
girl.
If you
Uh,
look at if you look compare, just being into butts and being into underwear, obviously being into underwear is the the worst fetish. So that means that she wins basically. I mean
Yeah,
I
but
can't.
they also have this like long debate. I mean, it reminded me of like prison school. I think that might have been what they were going for between the whole, the infamous boobs versus butts speech delivered in that show. I think they were kind of going for something like that here. where like Kaiko was trying to like argue for the civilizing principles of being an underwear fetishist, whereas you know Itsuki just wanted to see um, a naked little sister, and he was not going to budge. So in the end, they come to a synthesis. You know, thesis nudes, antithesis underwear, synthesis stripping. So you start with the little sister in underwear, and then she gets naked, and they agree
Then
on nudes,
everybody's happy, everybody claps. Yeah, ending.
and everyone claps, they hug, they cry. Um, yeah. Oh man, God, there's no there's no hope, is there? Anyway, I think God has truly left
The chat.
Japan.
Yeah.
I think
Um, yeah. And there's also so first of all there's competition between with the mangaka Kaiko and illustrator Setsuna, which she wins because
yeah, and then there's
yeah.
another one after. Yeah, so because so there's a continuation. So because when Ayuta hears that the sanctity of the manga has been compromised with underwear, and that this wasn't Itsuka's idea, and Nayuta gets angry because of course she does. So she ropes in Miyako to press gang uh, Kaiko into not having any underwear at all. Of course, this sort of turns into a whole thing, um, which inevitably ends up with Kyoko stripping naked, along
Yeah,
with along with Nayuta and
yeah,
Miyako, I believe, as well.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and but Yeah, so they have another illustration competition. Obviously, Nayuta loses because she isn't an illustrator. She's bad. The image she comes out with is very funny though. Um, and so in the end, Kaiko is able to include a undressing scene in in the fucking manga. uh,
And a whole episode was spent on this.
a whole
Yeah,
episode was spent on this. Yes, yes. Uh,
20 minutes of our lives, and now 1 hour and a half. Yeah, going on this stream.
oh God,
So so
I don't know how
now
we do it.
um so now let's talk about episode 7. So I think if you're going to watch one episode, just watch episode 7. Um, it's the TRPG episode. In Japan, for some reason, they call them table talk RPGs. So that's why there's only one T rather than tabletop RPGs.
Yeah,
Um, so um, as I said, the only other anime which I found was with people playing tabletop RPGs was Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, the characters obviously, the friends obviously play a party of 4 sisters. Um, the light novel authors are kind of put off by the Western. They're not figurines, are they? Are like the ones which you place on the board. What are they called?
yeah, the
Uh,
miniatures. Yeah,
Miniatures. Yeah, they're kind of put off by them because
yeah, because
yeah,
they're not anime. I mean, it's kind of funny because like over here you get like the opposite. If something looks too anime, like people don't like it. Which is fair enough, but they don't like the kind of more like toned down, like very realistic, you could say,
I
a traditional
yeah,
fantasy
I
figure,
yeah, yeah.
because of course they prefer anime. Though there is kind of this is maybe my own kind of head lore, like head canon, but I think the anime style would look normal to them because they're anime characters, and the and the um, regular like game pieces would look like weirdly stylized. So like that to them would be anime. Um,
Yeah,
that's not
but
true.
I don't like the thing. The thing is, I don't think that the regular pieces are also necessarily unstylized as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but like it's like a different style. It's like
yeah,
it's like a D and D in like the 80s was like a very like distinct style, but obviously it was still stylized, but it's kind of like recognized now as a kind of like traditional, I guess you could say, like fantasy style uh, that like isn't Eastern really. But yeah, which was kind of the like aesthetic of the pieces they had, so it put
yeah.
them off.
Because and the reason for that is that the game that which they played, I think the miniatures came with the game itself, and the game which they played was a foreign game, which means a Western game, obviously. And it's not. They don't say it's D&D because they do name some of the other games. Like for example, like uh, one of the card games which they play is called Once Upon a Time, where like you have to like you get a bunch of cards to tell a story, um, and you have to end it. If you search for Once Upon a Time on YouTube, you will see people playing that game. Um, so but it's not D&D because, for example, they don't have to roll for initiative when they do combat, apparently. But instead, the player with the character with the highest agility character um, goes first, and also they are playing with six-sided dice. Uh, I saw at least up to three, um, which is more common with Japanese games, by the way. Um, I mean, the most popular um, Japanese TRPG is called Sword World. I mean, the most popular TRPG made in Japan, uh, because actually the most popular is Call of Cthulhu. But anyway, in Sword World, it's kind of a grid-based combat, and it's more like a JRPG thing. Like it doesn't matter even where you are, or rather, you can be forward or backward, like in the front line or in the back line. Essentially, that's all. And here they don't really go into much detail about. It's more like we see the player's imagination. Um, how they would imagine themselves in the game, essentially. Um, they don't really go do much. They they just come up with some characters on the go, and just go with it. Um, and also most Japanese RPG the RPG games are played as one shots, and this is also played as a one shot. Um, um, so they still, when coming up with characters, they steal the powers of a bunch of characters from popular light novel anime, except for Nayuta's bodily fluid exchange power up. That's an original power, I guess. Uh, but Haruto says it's okay that they're stealing a bunch of stuff from anime because it's not like it's going to be used in a novel or an anime. Um, yeah, they just slightly changed the names. So the reason why the TRPG session happens at all um, is uh, it's Itsuki's idea to cheer up Haruto um, after uh, the awful anime adaptation and the comments which
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Plus, he did say like he wanted to play a TT RPG like after the anime came out because like because up to this point Haruto had been working very hard on the anime So, but he kind of forgets this. So, being a friend, Itsuki kind of like reminds him, and so they actually like end up playing this game.
Yeah. I mean, like there are scenes, for example, where like the protagonist Itsuki and the others are just going and messing around, whereas Haruto is, in some meeting with the anime staff. He's stuck in some meeting, so it's not like he didn't do anything. But I guess it's only the light novel author. Um, so where was I? So Haruto turns out to be Haruto plays the uh, GM, but the game master or the dungeon master, whatever you want to call it. But I think Itsuki guesses actually what's going on halfway through the game anyway. Um, you know, um, so at the start, the characters defeat uh, a bunch of I guess thugs trying to molest them. Um, and because Naruto's power up includes getting naked and um,
Yeah, if she sleeps with you, if a character sleeps with you, your powers multiply by like 4 times, so you're 4 times more powerful. If so, in the game, she's literally trying to like constantly um get it on with like Itsuki's character and also like Miyako's character, because of course this is when they were talking about. I mean,
yeah, and but I think the thugs end up running away, and or maybe
yeah,
they get defeated. I can't remember. But anyway, the city guard shows up, and they end up getting arrested in an RPG for public indecency. Um, but then out of nowhere, they get offered a quest by the princess to go and find a sage, I think, and deliver a letter or something, an important letter, basically. Um, but Itsuki right away figures out that actually the princess is evil, and so is the sage, and they have just been sent there as sacrifices because it wouldn't make any sense for them to get her, uh, you know, to get a quest so easily um, after being arrested for public indecency. So um, and for some reason they end up at a beach somewhere where they end up getting naked and attacked by a tentacle monster. Um, and Itsuki almost uses unlimited blade works from Fate. Um, yeah, to free himself and then defeat the monster. And I think aren't they naked from that time point onwards in the game? Um, I think they are. Um, um, and I also remember that they played another stupid game where like um, Itsuki's. I think that was a card game though, where Itsuki's character ends up naked and uses his penis as a sword or something.
yeah, that was
And
that was that was different.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, as a sword and as to sling around like to whiz around like in Sword Art Online or something stupid like that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. Um, so what happens then? So yeah, and then they decide to just open when they get to the sages um mansion. It looks like a haunted place or something, so it's not good. And they decide to just open the letter and the letter says what Itsuki said, that they were just sent there as sacrifices for the sage's experiments. So rather than going in and attacking the sage, they decide to do the whole get naked and power up thing, and to just blast the mansion from the outside without even getting in. I can't remember how it ends, because then they just speed up the events quickly. But by the end of this stupid story, it seems that uh, who Haruto he's, he's kind of lifted up a bit, um, because of this stupid story. His spirits have been lifted up a bit. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I
Anything?
think I think you like you gave yourself too much work on this slide. Um, but I think this also after the game like Haruto, um, I think he like this is where he this well I mean like this whole episode sort of comes off the back of his anime not doing too well, and Miyako has already been sympathetic to him, but um, playing this game with Miyako basically makes him like a more, and so this is kind of the final straw that sort of makes him want to actually ask go and ask around.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, unfortunately, in the long run, it doesn't really work out that way. Um, Sadly.
yeah, and I guess it's also kind of funny the way that Nayuta's voice actress voices the lines where she's
Yeah. Well, there's like a female character, so yeah, there's like this sorceress character. I think no, there's the princess character, and he has to voice her. Yeah, but they all play sisters, so they're all related. They're all playing sisters in the RPG. So you get you also get Itsuki's voice actor putting on a female voice.
yeah, yeah,
It's very confusing. I was confused. There was this. Anyway, sorry. I shouldn't talk
yeah.
about these things.
And at the start, Itsuki is kind of confused. He has this short little dilemma about like whether he wants to be the little sister, um, because he just likes little sisters. He doesn't necessarily want to become one. So,
Exactly.
but he quickly resolves that, and
If he
decide,
if if he becomes the little sister, then it doesn't make any sense.
yeah. But I think he's
It's all
fine.
for nothing.
Yeah, it's all for nothing. He's kind of fine with it, because he ends up having his own little sister in the game. So even though he's a little
Yeah.
sister, so yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. Even though he has an older sister, um, yeah, being a middle child, I guess he can. But yeah. Anyway.
So at the end of the episode, they flash Miyako's character sheet, and so she plays the eldest of the adventure sisters, which I thought was appropriate, because again, Nayuta also sees her like an older sister.
Yeah.
Um, and well, apparently she likes people who work hard and dislikes people who make fun of people who work hard. And Haruto sees this at the end,
Yeah.
and he thinks he likes her more for it, because this kind of describes him, people who work hard. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
People I like. Oh my god, she likes me. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Here we
exactly.
go. The origin story.
The
My
homebreaker.
name, my name is Itsuki Hashima, and this is my origin story. There was once a cute daughter, and she was. My family once had a housekeeper, and she had this cute daughter. I was back then. I was such a hard worker. I was such a hard worker. The housekeeper told her daughter about my hard work. That's how hard I worked. And so this cute daughter came to my house one day. She was naturally a year above me, but it wasn't a big deal. I talked to girls all the time. She was an older, pretty girl who talked about light novels and even cosplayed for it, and even cosplayed for me because, of course, she did. It's too key, literal like sex gods. No, I'm joking. Even at the age of like 12 or whatever, this would have been like he's like pulling like older women, well,
Hmm.
older girls, I guess, at this point. Um, and for, sadly, of course, INA likes this other boy at school, and so she sort of comes back to his house one day and starts crying, and but like Itsuki is like, no, I like you. Will you go out with me? Unfortunately, she declines because she says that she sees him more as a little brother. This causes deep trauma, deep psychological trauma, which of course motivates him to submit his manuscript to a night novel contest, um, which is yeah, and but this light novel he makes is A Sister's All You Need. Okay,
No, no.
so
That's is that? No, I don't think that's a light novel. I think that's a light novel. That's a light novel.
oh, is the judge the author of A Sister
Yeah,
All You
yeah,
Need? So interesting. Okay, but this childhood event ultimately traumatizes him so much he develops a little sister complex. I guess as like a counterbalance to being called a like little brother.
but
It's like I'll
yeah,
show her. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna write like romance fiction about having a little sister. This is how I'm going to overcome. I will be the protagonist. I will be the protagonist. I think he actually says something like he actually says
yeah,
that
yeah. He does. Yeah,
one day I will be the protagonist and I will have a little sister.
yeah. So,
But I mean it was kind of cute, like I mean, she develops this interest for the light novels he reads, and they have like a good thing going. She even like cosplays for. I mean, like talk about leading on
yeah, I
someone.
know.
Young- it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wear these like outfits for you, and like you're like a year below me, and I'm like this older like girl in like the I don't know sixth yeah I don't know like sixth grade or something. Although no, it's
Yeah,
a bit
fifth grade.
later. Yeah,
Yeah,
but like yeah, unfortunately they're both kind of in their own world. They don't really understand what the other one thinks of the other, so it kind of yeah it ends badly in the end. I think that's basically all that can be said in regards to INA unless you have something.
uh, well, I guess so. The reason why that whole I'm so first of all, Itsuki was already into stuff with little sisters before he met Ayane. So let's just say that she just pushed him off the deep end. He was already staring down it. Um, so also the boy that Ayane falls in love with is also another nerd who spends all of his time uh, on light novels. But um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, um, so so basically, um, the boy that she falls in love with is sort of like the protagonist in one of these rom-com where the protagonist is someone who's into light now, who's an otaku and whatnot, and there's some cute girl who falls in love with her. So so that's why Itsuki kind of complains that he's not even like a side character, um, uh, because he's like the boy who was rejected by the girl who was rejected by the protagonist or something convoluted like that. But it's kind, yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like he's kind of very young, and it's like his only frame of reference are
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. Like
novels.
at this point in his life, yeah, like the novels, he sort of like clings to because he's like because he has like a bad relationship with his parents and like his mum's dead, and he doesn't really like his dad's. I don't think. I mean, it would have, or maybe he does kind of like his dad, but he's kind of absent. He's yet to actually remarry. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if she comes up later on. I'm kind of curious, so I might read the novels at some point. Uh, so about the author Hirasaka, his age is unknown. There were no photos of him that I could find. He's been active since
oh,
2004. His pseudonym is derived from Yomotsu Hirasaka, a slope or boundary between the world of the dead, Yomi, and the world of the living. I thought it was sort of Chunibyo kind of pseudonym. His most popular work out there is Haganai. I don't have many friends, um, which is about. I guess it's about a club which helps people sort of vaguely. But I've been meaning to watch this show for a long, long time. Um, because it sort of sounds like Oreimo, no, and not Oreimo, Oregairu. But yeah, I back when I was into those kind of shows, those kind of rom-com kind of shows, I didn't get the chance to watch it, but maybe who knows, I'll watch it. Um, and um, he has worked on a lot of stuff, and among the stuff which he has worked on is a replay of Grand Crest, which I believe is an RPG, but there's also an anime and other stuff. It's a mixed media kind of thing. And he's on Twitter. He's at Hirasakayomi on Twitter. So I wouldn't be surprised, like if some of the stuff about trying to pull um, attention on Twitter and just getting shut on, if it came from his own experience. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Sounds sounds realistic.
yeah.
All right. Wow, almost 2 hours. Maybe we can stretch. We can squeeze 9 more minutes out of this and get it to 2 hours.
Yeah, so we can be proud of ourselves, right?
Oh god, I'm so sorry, everyone. Like we pretty much just talked about the same things for like 2 hours.
So, again, I kind of felt like the Imouto thing felt a little bit forced in the story. I mean, maybe towards the end they kind of excused it with, with the whole thing with Ayane a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a bit, but I think even then he could have not had the sister thing. He could have had something else going on.
yeah.
Um,
I don't think I took a picture, but there was a time of when Itsuki told his his editor that the reason why he includes nudity in his series is without any basically any reason or to appeal to anyone. It's just there for himself
yeah,
basically.
it's just there for himself. I mean, there is something to be said about the whole like little sister thing. I mean, you know, it does like I don't know if I appreciate it that much, but it does make this series unique, and I think this show would be less kind of interesting if they didn't have this like weird like thing going on with the protagonist. Like I think it would have been kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
less.
I
Yeah,
think yeah, I think rather than pulling more people in, it pushed more people out, especially the first
that's
scene. Yeah, yeah,
that's true. But I mean, maybe it got a smaller audience, but the audience were like loyal rather than
yeah, yeah.
you know. It's like appealing to like a wide range of people, but people sort of dropping it um,
It kind
quite
of
quickly
yeah,
because like the characters aren't really that interesting, or like or well, really because like the main character isn't that interesting. I mean, if you take away like all the kind of weirdness, like if you take all the character out of this show, like you don't really have something very good, obviously. Like you know, I mean, it's sort of like if you like said like, oh yes, Nayuta is making this show 18 plus single-handedly with her antics. We need to like tone her down a bit. She isn't allowed to get naked anymore. Like this would actually make the show worse because
Yeah.
you know it's just kind of like less interesting, you know, and you kind of come back to sort of see like what like insane shit she's gonna say next, you know, like how is she, you know, but yeah,
Yeah, I rate this show a 7 out of 10, but mostly because um as I said at the start, I'm kind of in the subset of people who want to write novels, and I I'm interested in because I'm interested in the topic, but I understand that for most people this would probably be a 5 out of 10. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I would have to give it a 5 out of 10 because it's half finished.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
uh,
The novel,
yeah,
yeah,
my biggest criticism is kind of a structural one where it felt unfinished and it kind of felt a bit disposable in a sense. Like I couldn't, I haven't really been able to recount a lot of the actual plot itself. Just because the episodes kind of felt like they blended into each other a lot. There wasn't really too much change in scenery or you know,
yeah, yeah,
interesting things happening.
yeah.
In a sense, it just sort of felt kind of like a slice of life, like a seasonal, like romance comedy
Comfort.
sort of thing. You know,
Yeah,
that kind of comes and goes and doesn't really leave much of a impression, apart from like you know the like weird sexual like stuff they put in there. But that's really kind of it. You know, that's the only thing that's kind of holding this thing together. Is the like morbid curiosity of like where they're going to take this. Like where are they going to take the like reverse trap plot? You know, like where's that going to go? You know, but
yeah,
the answer is nowhere unless this gets greenlit for a second season. But yeah,
yeah. The novels are complete, so for somebody want, so basically this, if you read this as just an advertisement, and I would, because I mean there's nothing that great about like the directing adaptation, so I don't think you would lose a lot if you just read the novel, unless I mean even the fan service, I mean as I said, it's censored, and
yeah.
there's no nipples, for example. So it's more for comedy, I felt like. um so um I think that's about it. Oh, the ending. The ending kind of felt rushed, with the protagonist suddenly gets uh um like
Yeah,
uh
he gets a anime
adaptation.
adaptation. Yeah, which means you know he has like a big opportunity to become you know where
Protagonist.
Nayuta's equal. You
Yeah.
know he has an opportunity to become the protagonist. Uh, and so yeah, but there's also the like plot thread of if Chihiro is going to tell Itsuki about about her status as a woman or not, as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I also liked uh oh yeah, and I forgot to mention earlier about the accountant. The accountant also finds out that Shiro is a girl, because
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah, and yeah, because they have a bath scene. Because of
yeah,
course they do.
they do, yes.
Another thing to kind of round off this series was like a Miyako wants to become an editor
Yeah,
because she goes to like the editing offices and she looks at like how Kanjira has this like creative relationship with Itsuki. So like Miyako wants to become an editor so she can have a like creative exchange. Maybe with like the Nayuta possibly, but Nayuta's editor is already like a big fan of her, so that's unlikely to happen. But Miyako basically just sort of
Yeah,
found it quite nice, so she wants to sort of become a editor now
yeah.
for someone.
It goes to show like that if you have the connections, you can get the job, basically, because she
Yeah,
spent all this time. She spent all this time with these light novel authors, and
exactly. My advice is if you have connections, use them. grab grab onto those connections and never let go. Use riding on coattails is a good thing. Anyway,
yeah, yeah, and I also liked like I at the very end. I can't remember whether it's the last episode, but it's the last game which they played, which is an original game, and unlike the other games. uh, when Haruto brings in a Dojin game, so basically a fan game, and it's about the life of a light novel author, and immediately everyone is like, that sounds so shit and gloomy, um, and it goes, and they start playing the game, and you basically it's just. Like what's that ladder game called again? You know, where you start um, where you start at number one in the first box, and then you roll a dice and move up.
oh,
I
what you
can't.
mean stinks and ladders?
Yeah, sticks and ladders. Yeah, it's
Sticks and
based
ladders.
ladders. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's basically
the
sticks.
the ladder game.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's basically sticks and ladders, but the theme is uh, being a light novel author, and some characters start at a good publishing house, others at at, some at a small, some at a big one. Haruto starts at as I think uh, as an internet only author, get popular on the internet, which wasn't featured here at all because this was back in 2015, and I think it was less common. It still happened, but now it's a lot more common where light novel authors get their start on, rather than on competition, from a competition set by the publisher. They get their start from their story getting popular as a web novel. um, and yeah, and at first it all it I don't think I need to relay the whole game, but basically the things which happen in the game kind of reflect uh,
Yeah,
you know
yeah, they yeah, and so everyone is kind of left even though Itsuki ends up winning, he wins because he did the least but worst basically. So everyone had like a poor career, but Itsuki had the least poor career, so everyone was kind of like
yeah,
not
yeah,
very impressed. But
yeah,
yeah, it was like a funny episode.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think that about covers it. Oh, and there's some trivia. Um,
Bonus rounds.
yeah, that's right. So, the laptop which he uses is a Let's Note Panasonic laptop, which are like ThinkPads. They're like Lenovo or IBM ThinkPads, but worse because apparently it's harder to repair them because apparently it's all soldered together inside. But it's sort of a cheap business laptop thingy like ThinkPads are. And so I found out through the novel. Basically, I don't know, yeah, but why? But I wanted to find out what was the program which he used to write. Um, and I just posted that on Twitter years ago, and it turned out to be Ichitaro, which is the second most popular um, word processor in Japan, and apparently it used to be more popular. And the thing about it is that it allows you to write vertically. So apparently you can write Japanese vertically. I don't know how it works. Um, yeah, but it's a tiny little laptop. You see it in the anime as well.
You do,
12
yeah.
yeah, 12.1 inch screen. equipped with Ishitaro. Um, yeah, and a job and a word processor geared for the Japanese language. You can find Let's Note laptops um, on Amazon. I think they're like, but I don't think they're worth the price for bringing them here. So apparently that was what he used first. It, and it was his dad's laptop, so that might come later.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I totally understand the part about like how changing the size of a keyboard or like the layout a little bit can like really like mess with you. I like I've like changed my keyboard recently, and I like keep hitting the caps lock instead of shift, and it like screws me over so often. Because like anyway, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, and this sort of
I
yeah
understand the pain. You know,
yeah same here. Like I'm used to my ThinkPad whenever I go to work, and I have to use the normal sized keyboard. It's shit. And um, Also this sort of contrasts with um, Nayuta, she can write on anything, whereas Itsuki is a creature of habit who can only write on a tiny little keyboard. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, same
yeah.
here.
Well, yeah. I think like Naruto has like the mind of a child as well, so you know she can adapt easily.
Yeah. How old was Nayuta anime? Was she? I think she was younger.
18.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
she was like
she was
18.
18. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the youngest. Yeah.
Legal
So
legal age of consent, by the way, it's not sus at all.
yeah, I think that might have been another reason why it didn't become that popular. But anyway, the end. Uh,
Yeah, she wasn't the like genuine article.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh god.
Um, one of the things which caught my attention when I first found out about this show was the promotional art for it, which was this picture here, which you can see. I think
Yeah,
they might have applied a filter, but yeah, it's basically a real life photo and the characters crossing the road.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I thought
It's
that
cute.
sort, yeah, it's cute, and I thought it sort of um, reflected the fact because usually series like this, like I felt like it didn't match up with the title. Um, a sister's all you need, like because usually what they would do is put the picture of the sister in front, if that was what this was about. Um, they would put the
Well,
girls at the front. Yeah, yeah,
they do have a little sister there, I guess you could say. But
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah. They do. They do.
it's a little bit more esoteric. You see, you know, you have to like you know, they're not. This is uncompromising. Artistic um, representation. You see, you know, this is yeah, this is very good. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah.
if there's
So
if there's anything you can say about this anime is that its vision was uncompromising.
mm, okay. Um, I think that's it. Do you have any final other things to add?
I think I've said everything. I don't want to drag this on any longer. Yeah, it wasn't. I haven't. I don't know if I really kind of have been able to find much. You know, like that many interesting things to kind of talk about other than like the interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
it's like at its root, this is basically a rom-com.
yeah,
Um, with the the whole thing, the light novel thing is that's just some flavor on top.
yeah. It's
Uh,
just kind of what they do. You know,
yeah, yeah,
it's a surrogate activity. A man was destined to how to you know be having little sisters, and we have been deprived of, and modernity with collapsing birth rates has deprived so many men of their little sisters, this is a great outrage, but however, these surrogate activities. Uh, I wonder if there could be like a whole like anime like Uncle Ted's
Um,
like
that's an anime. That's an anime called Humanity Has Declined, where
oh
like
god.
there's only a few humans left because of the birth rate going down. But uh, but at the same time, I feel like but there's some sci-fi fantasy stuff going on in there as well because there are a bunch of fairies taking over the world, and
Yeah, yeah.
but it's
If
sort of a
anyone
satire. We'll watch it at
if
some point.
anyone is still if anyone is still listening to this, if this episode even goes out at all, um I
Fingers
want you
crossed.
to write a copy pasta for this anime, from the point of view that instead of Itsuki being the protagonist, is actually Uncle Ted's. But Uncle Ted also has the sister complex as well. I want this to be a copy pasta. I want this to be a bit of a fan fiction that comes out of this. Um, this is my mission
Yeah,
to you.
yeah. He goes
Um,
postal because he didn't get a little sister, I guess.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay then. Shall we end? Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Bye.